Hello, I am Miko, and today I'll be teaching you the basics of the general setup page on your watch. With that out of the way, let's get started. Now first, open your watch in whatever way you like, and go to this room. Now, go to the settings page, general setup, and this is what we'll be talking about today. I'll be talking about room settings and subroom settings, but I'll be starting off with the room settings first. Now, in room settings, you can disable things that you don't want in your room, such as others can copy. You can also disable things such as support teleport VR. Now, if they're a teleport player and they try to enter your room which disables that, they will get a prompt on their watch asking them to switch walk modes. Now, if you go to the second page, you will see encrypt voice chat. Pressing this will display gadgets for everyone who visits this room. Remember, enabling this feature will add additional ink to your rooms, due to the fact that Rec Room making it so that not everyone can see gadgets puts the ink down tremendously. On the second page, you can also disable room comments, which disables the player from being able to comment on your rooms using the feedback tool in their backpack menu. Now, probably the most important thing in general setup is the content warnings. Now, content warnings are very important. For an example, let's say someone has epilepsy and your room has bright flashing lights, and you don't put the content warning. They will not get the prompt before joining the room, causing them to have a seizure. This is probably the most important thing before publishing a room you should do. You can also make custom content warnings for different things. They don't have to be mature things, but they could just be things in your map that you might want to give a warning for, such as jump scares. Content warnings just help keep people safe and warn them of things that might potentially be harmful to them. Now, the last thing I'll talk about in room settings is the Allow Creative Tools beta content. Enabling this will allow you to access Circuits V2, which, as of now, are in beta. But remember, when enabling this feature, anything that you try to make an invention will not work, unless you disable this. This can be disabled the same way it can be enabled. Just press the button and apply settings. Apply settings is this button at the very bottom of the page that will, once making your changes to your room settings, once you do that, it will be applied to your room. Now let's talk about subroom settings. Here you can see the subroom name and what room you are in a subroom of. You can also see entry to subroom and enforce host only areas. This room has no subrooms yet, so it just has the name of the room currently. Although if you press on it, you will get this prompt right here. Once this subroom is moved, lost subway station for example, and all its stats will be deleted. Now, if you press continue, and you type in or find the room name you want for your subroom, you will make that a subroom of this room, or vice versa. And once doing that, after setting up a subroom door in one of your rooms and connecting it, you will be able to go to one room to another. Now remember, like the prompt says, it will delete all this room stats if you make it a subroom. This action is not undoable, so keep that in mind when making a subroom. On the second page, Enable Invisible Walls is very self-explanatory. It will enable the invisible walls you put in your room. There's also Show Gadgets to Everyone and Directional Voice Chat. Now, if you're wondering what Directional Voice Chat is, basically, if you're to the left of me and I turn to the right, your voice will be quieter and directional, but if I turn that off, I will just hear you in my left ear. No difference in volume. Now next is Show Gadgets to Everyone, which again is self-explanatory. It will show gadgets to everyone in that room. Maximum players. This, using a slider, will show you how many players are allowed into your room at max. So right now it's 20, you can move it from anything from 1 to 40. Now lastly are the moods. As you can see here, the current mood is outer space, but changing it will do different tones and moods. Now, using this feature in your rooms alongside the sky dome and decorational chips for your rooms, you can get really good lighting and sky domes. Well, we're at the end of the tutorial now. I hope it was helpful to you, and I hope you learned just a little bit more about Rec Room. Well, have a good one and stay creative.